Well, welcome to day 2 of our 2,500 mile, $2,500 car vehicle road trip across America, headed to Mount Rushmore. Time to get up, time to get rolling. So, as you can see, it did rain a little bit over the night / early morning. Wasn't supposed to rain, but hey, it's the weather. It does what it does. Probably going to keep Nathan and Tim from being able to run topless today, but we'll see if this maybe goes away and it was just kind of an early morning thing. One small caveat when you're camping or glamping or whatever it is sleeping in the back of a van or a wagon, when the world decides to turn the lights on, you can't just close the curtains and sleep in. So it's 7:30 in the morning. I think we went to bed at like 3:30 or so. So 4 hours of sleep on a 14-hour drive. Yeah, no big deal. Anyway, time to get up. Time to get ready. Here we go. All right, time to get the day started. Whoa, not nearly as wildernessy out here as we thought it was. Reason number, I don't know what, to buy a wagon. A, they're cool. B, you can haul stuff in them. 3, you can sleep in them comfortably. And I did. Now, time to wake up the other campers, get on with the road trip. There's Team 3, Tim Neely. Oh, there's Joe. He's alive. So it's time to repack the cars and get on the road. Badlands, here we come.
I need about 20 minutes.
I smell a little bit of something. I don't know what that is. It's fuel. It doesn't smell like fuel. It smells like old burnt oil. No, it's fuel. On the road again. Like a band of gypsies, we roll down the highway. So it's back on to Highway 20 to the west. We are still trying to reach our goal of where we were hoping to stop last night of Sioux City, Iowa. We are about an hour, 45 minutes east of where we wanted to be. We are making good time across rural farmland, Iowa here. Killing many, many bugs. That is what they call flat land. Not much to see out here, which is one of the reasons we drove through a lot of this last night. But again, thank you to all you farmers out there who make corn and who do potatoes. Because without you, I wouldn't be able to have nachos and potato chips and French fries. So yeah, it's an important part of the country. Is an absolute the storm of butterflies splattered all over the windshield.
The carnage! Oh my god, it's unreal. Dude, I've seen it rain less water than the amount of butterflies.
This is kind of a creepy version of like Alfred Hitchcock's Birds, except for it's butterflies.
If you were driving a GMC, you would not be able to see right now.
don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's literally it's just non-stop smacking sounds of butterflies smashing into the windshield. Oh, this is disgusting. Yep, they're on another one.
Can you imagine how many these truckers had? It's gotta be like borderline, you can't see out of your car. You would have to have like some serious washer fluid.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, they never filled the washing fluid tank in this truck.
Well, our road rolls ever onward. We are now in Sioux City, Iowa. There's a big bridge and a river. So far so good. Nothing to report, nothing real exciting. We survived an incredible butterfly storm. We have not yet stopped to inspect the damage of said butterfly storm all over the fronts of our cars, but judging by the undifferentiated protoplasm, aka bug guts, all over my windshield, and the chunks of bugs that were flying off of both the other guys as we were driving, I'm sure the fronts of these cars look terrible, so it is what it is. This thing is going to look terrible by the time we get back from this trip, because I'm not washing it. Sioux City, we are on our way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, about 90 miles from where we are currently, and then we're going to turn west and head across southern South Dakota. Well, welcome to South Dakota. I'm told that's how it's pronounced. The 46th most populous state in the Union, aka nobody really lives here. It is even more rural here than in Iowa, which is a very rural state. The predominant area is farmland, small settlements, and like 2 cities, really, to mention. Nothing super exciting, so we're on our way to Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls is kind of our last bastion of civilization before we head west on I-90 West, which will take us all the way across the state into the southwest corner where the Badlands are, Mount Rushmore is, and the Crazy Horse Monument. Now, timing is going to be a little bit questionable on whether or not we're going to be able to see the Crazy Horse Monument, and it's not finished yet, so I'm not entirely sure we're going to be able to squeeze that in on this trip, but we're going to see what timing does for us. So we're going to barrel across as much of South Dakota as fast as we possibly can. Finished a fun little blast across southeastern South Dakota. Excuse me, South Dakota. And we are entering into the beautiful metropolis of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Little city, nothing real exciting. If you blink and fart, you'll miss it. We are searching for 90 West, which is going to be our final road here, and then we're going to jump off for some food. It is 2:45 Eastern time, so it's 1:45 Central time, which is what we're in. Interesting things to note. Definitely finished a stress test across the little jaunt here, up 29. It's an 80-mile-an-hour speed limit for like 30 miles, and we were averaging 80-ish miles an hour that entire time, and no worse to wear. I do have a little bit of a puff of smoke comes out of the back of the exhaust when it gets into boost at the higher speeds, which we have noticed on the dyno as well. If you look back at the dyno video, there is a little bit of a puff of smoke when it gets full boost, which is either going to be a turbo seal or we've got a weird situation in the fuel map. It looked like it was pulling some timing out when it got into full boost, so maybe there's some knock going on there, or I've got a knock sensor that's getting a little weird, getting a false positive. But anyway, yeah, there's tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of bikers on the interstates today, because this weekend is Sturgis Bike Rally. Oops. Why in the world would you drive to South Dakota when it's Sturgis? I don't know. Just happened to work out that way. Plan is to stay as far away from Sturgis as possible, but our return route does run us through Sturgis. So we'll see if we do that, or if we come up with a creative way of getting around Sturgis. Anywho, I-90 just ahead. Time to turn west and stop for some fuel and some lunch. All right, so I talked about the butterfly storm we went through. Let's count just the ones in the grill, not the ones that are splattered everywhere else. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 whole butterflies, not including the ones that are all over the rest of the car and that he already scraped off the windshield. Butterfly storms. Random little pit stop completed. Oddly enough, right when we got out of the car, we heard a LS motor going crazy on an engine dyno. So Joe, the engine builder, ran over there and had a conversation with those guys, and apparently we may run into them at the PRI show in Indy this winter, so that'll be kind of neat. Sit rep. We are on 90 West. We have like 200 miles to go across essentially nothing but flat farmland, and yeah, that's it. Flat farmland. To get to the visitor center of Badlands, and we're gonna set up cameras and do what we can to film. Weather looks like it's taking a little bit of a turn for the worse. Pardon the bugs all over my windshield. We've got rain apparently on its way this direction. Annoyingly, we had beautiful blue skies and no problem in the 10-day forecast. You know, as forecasts go, nobody has any idea. So it is what it is. But we're gonna get to the Badlands around 4 o'clock and do some driving through there, hopefully get some good pictures and video and show off that area of the world. The gas station we stopped at was amazing. I got some Caribou coffee, which is something I haven't had in a decade. I didn't even know Caribou coffee was still a thing. I got a tasty frozen beverage there. Let's see, I've also got some water over here. I've got an energy drink down there. I've got groceries over here, just in case, you know, you never know, you get stranded in the middle of nowhere. And I've got an entire bag of candy. So in case there's an issue, which hopefully there's not, I will be fine. I've got candy, food, drinks, I'm good. Carrying on, South Dakota, here we go. One thing that really comes into perspective when you're driving across this country, which we've done half of this country on this trip so far, how big this place really is, how blessed we are with space and land. I mean, I wouldn't want to live here, but the amount of space out here is just unreal. This prairie that's over here to the left, and the corn that's coming up here to the left, this has literally been basically all we have seen for 200 miles. Hey look, more corn. I mean, it's just never ending. You go up a little rise, you come back down a rise. You go up a little rise, you can see 20 miles down the road.
I'm not fuel at all, but we should check like the line going into the fuel filter and the lines where they come up the front of the firewall. In case there is a hose connector or something.
Can you see that? Over there in the distance? It's something other than prairie and corn. It's water. It's a lake. This dude is crop dusting and literally flying so low that we can basically not even see him above the corn until he banks up and comes in, until he lifts it up and brings it up out of the corn. That's crazy. That man is enjoying his crop dusting. So remember just a second ago how I was talking about there's a little lake that was back in the distance? Well, we came around another corner and it's the Missouri River, not a little lake. Man, how quickly things can change. Across the river, now there's hills, there's trees, there's a town, there's civilization. Well, our good luck has finally run out. We've been getting little whiffs of raw gasoline for a couple of hours. Tim smelled a little bit of it this morning when he cranked up the Mercedes. And after we got done with that little road construction area back there, it looks like something came loose. And we now have a fuel leak active on the Mercedes. Now, the really bad thing is we're in the middle of nowhere. We are 150 miles east of the nearest city, and we're kind of in a hard place here. This thing is probably not safe to drive with how active this fuel leak is. So we need to see what's going on, if it's something we can fix or if we're just kind of totally hosed. Unfortunately, there's a belly pan that's over top of where this leak is, and we need to be able to get some tools to be able to pull that belly pan off to see where exactly the active leak is. So we're going to try to find some tools. We stopped at a gas station, in the middle of nowhere, and we're going to see if we can hopefully find something that'll help us out here. So, as Providence would have it, our luck maybe hasn't run out. As we're standing there walking around this place trying to find somebody that we could borrow tools from, a gentleman in the gas station offered to help, and he has a shop. And his shop, well, right there is the gas station we were going to, and his shop is up this road. So we're taking the fleet of vehicles up to this gentleman's shop, and we're going to get this thing on a lift and get underneath it, see if it's something that can be fixed. Hopefully it's just a ruptured line. We can either section in a new piece of line or fix it somehow. But at least we have somebody who's offered to help. So we're moving forward, and we'll see what happens. I tell you what, though, it does make you appreciate and believe in humanity when you randomly break down in the middle of nowhere in South Dakota, and a gentleman that's in the gas station offers to help you out. And he's got an old truck in his garage. Look at this. Very cool. So, hey, you know what?
This is awesome.
2,500 mile, $2,500 car road trip. Anything but boring.
If anyone could appreciate what we're doing here, this guy.
This is amazing.
This town is crazy. Like, drop this off and buy one of these $2,500 cars and drive one of these back home. Did you see the town?
Drive that back.
The crazy things you find when you're in nowhere, South Dakota. It's a 55 Bel Air. All kinds of stuff. This truck. Take this truck back.
So let me catch you up on where we are. We have a SL500 Mercedes that has a cracked fuel pump. There are two pumps underneath this thing that actually sit underneath the tank, and there's like a pickup pump and then another high pressure pump, and you have a filter that sits on top of it. So you have this entire assembly that's feed, filter, low pressure pump, high pressure pump. Well, the high pressure pump has a hole or a crack on the end of that pump, and it's actively leaking fuel. The problem is it's actively leaking fuel next to a positive and negative wire, which is a serious issue of fire. It's also right next to the exhaust, which is a serious issue of fire. So right now we're trying to get all that off so we can get the fuel pump off, so we can JB weld it back together again, because, you know, that's what you do. Problem is I can't get the pumps to separate. I can't get the lines off the pumps because the pumps are sitting in a hanger that has rubber grommets on it, so you can't get hard torque on it. So we're getting a little creative, try to fix this Mercedes to continue our 2,500 mile road trip. The other two minions have run off to try to get some JB weld, and once they get back, we'll see whether or not we can get this done. And I'm going to continue to try to get this fuel pump off after I dry off all of my stuff. That's I took a little bit of a gasoline bath popping a fuel line loose that was clearly still under quite a bit of pressure. And then I took a little bit of a backyard shower, which we're not going to put that on video. So, yeah, that's where we are. And Scott is the man. He came down and randomly met us in the gas station and offered to help. So we are in Scott's garage in South Dakota trying to fix this Germanic piece of crap. I'm gonna put this on here real quick, and then I'm gonna go run in the garden hose so I'm not standing here scratching like a crackhead from raw gasoline.
Like I said, it doesn't make any sense for any more of us to get dirty.
Right. So,
You're already dirty, so
can you see what I'm working on here?
yeah.
So, here's your fuel pump assembly. And this is the fuel pump that has an issue. Unfortunately, this comes out of the tank, goes into this, out of that, back here, into this pump, out of this pump, into this, up in front. Well, these hard lines ain't coming off, and we can't get a hold of one of these crazy Mercedes fuel pumps. So what we're going to do here is we're going to tilt this thing up, and we're going to JB weld the hell out of it and leave it sitting this way, and hopefully the JB weld will set.
It's going to work, and we're going to drive all the way back to Columbus. Actually, we're going to drive all the way to Wyoming and then back to Columbus.
Yes.
Without any more problems.
Yes. I would also just like to state that the Volvo made a recovery run to some other town that I've never heard of to get the product. And it has not had a problem yet, and it's still perfect. Just saying. Just saying. So we're going to show you a little bit of what's going on here. Hopefully this works out on camera. So here's the fuel pump situation. Here's all your crazy fuel lines. This pump here is the one that's in question that's leaking. If you look at it right here,
Okay.
you can see where it looks like it's taken an impact and bent that over a little extra further. All of the rest of this is fine and is nice and fluid. This piece is actually really ragged where it got hit. So it looks like something hit it there and cracked that corner of the case,
We got two pieces right here.
which is what generated our fuel leak. So
About 4 more here.
we're going to do some
There you go.
liberal usage of JB Weld here.
Here's what we got.
Now I need something to be able to put this pump.
One vent line, return line, and a feed line.
The boat back on. We'll get on it.
Yeah.
One goes where? Yeah. Don't do it backwards, then we'll have just pump gas right back to the fuel tank.
Here's a fairly clean grease rag. Have that handy.
I just want to.
Here's the clamps that he gave me.
Austin, I think you're doing a really great job.
Thanks, Joe. Doing a bang-up job.
Keep going.
I think you're good because the first round's had ample time. The other was just a little added insurance.
It's not going to see a shitload of pressure, then, you know.
I promise you it's going to gravity feed all over me.
Well, yeah, that was my concern before, and you were about to start pulling lines off of that. But,
You guys do not realize how much gas is on him right now.
No, they do.
Beauty of having a wood floor shop and just let it evaporate.
yeah,
Throw some cat food on it.
Alright.
exactly, yeah.
I don't
So
mind
this line goes to here.
Him and I, us doing our scouring of the internet and looking at parts out east.
Yeah, if you can find something cheap.
Ow!
I'm sure I can
Eventually I'll find a parts place like
Ah,
that.
son of a
Rummage around somewhere and say,
beep.
but
Ah.
things for rusting out. That's right. I gotta go get that saline stuff. Be right back.
Ah!
Where's your eye open? Hold your eye open.
You want this towel?
Give me a paper towel.
This is a paper towel. Look, you can't see.
You guys suck.
We're the shittiest friends ever.
I appreciate all the help.
He's going blind over here.
I literally gave you a paper towel.
Dirty. Even if the fuel pump just stopped working, that seems more likely than this thing.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like, this is such a random. I did run over a truck tire. That could have potentially been
Like a retread that came off?
a retread.
Yeah.
You didn't see it, so you were right up on it.
Yeah.
And
I
thought
see the guy's radiator broke.
There's a shorter version of that.
Hitting one of those.
I thought we got away with it, but
Can
maybe
someone
this
get
is
him a
what-
shorter version of that?
That's pretty far back though.
Never
It just
mind.
depends where it jumped up. But
Oh, I didn't see. I mean, it was like it appeared because he was right next to me, and I did not see it at all until if I was in that lane, I would have ran right into it. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, you could not see that. The way it was sitting on the road, it just blended right in. Even with your headlights hitting it, it just looked like it was a part of the highway.
So when
right.
did this adventure start? Must have been Friday after work.
Friday morning.
Friday morning.
Well,
that's when the
that's when his
adventure's
car
supposed-
broke.
Yeah. We didn't get out on the road until like 2 o'clock, 2:30. We were supposed to leave at 9 a.m. So we drove all the way until, what, 2:30 last? Woke up, the Mercedes smelled like gasoline. We said, nah, it's probably nothing.
Drove 400 miles.
With it dripping like that?
I think it got a little worse as we were driving.
I still got 22 miles per gallon, although I probably got 24.
Right.
And they were like,
Just do it.
okay, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, they just want to get rid of it. They
Yeah.
want it to be over.
Yeah.
Wasn't
And so
about the
I've
money.
got all these people that are like, oh, I'll buy it right now. I'll give
Yeah.
you. But now, you know, it's like, this is hilarious.
Got to fulfill the mission first.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a super cool looking car. I kind of hate the way Germans did stuff, but
Well, this, you know, that array, what the heck? Like, why? Why?
I mean, it's like they try to make things more complicated.
They absolutely do.
yeah.
That way you have to take it back to the dealership to get it fixed. Gotta go back to the dealer to get it fixed.
And it's not, it doesn't even have an intake pump, which is weird. It's their twin inline
It has
pumps.
an in pump. In tank.
So it's got 3.
I mean, it must, because you can hear the in tank pump.
All right, here we go.
Like, I 100% has an in tank pump. Why?
There's so much.
Usually, this era mechanical had an in tank pump. It was like a low pressure, just to get it like out of there. And then undercar, they would have a single inline with high pressure. Not high.
And my little cordless trouble light should be charged up by now if you want some more light.
Dude, I think this thing is still leaking.
Really?
Even with this, the line hooked back up?
Yep. Yep. Drip. Drip. Drip.
What the hell?
And you're sure you isolated the source of the leak to the top of the fuel pump or
I mean,
whatever you thought it was?
There's nowhere else that's wet.
Okay. Okay. I was wondering. Yeah. Make sure you keep your camera out of the way if it's spraying gas.
It's gonna spray the other way, but
Okay.
That's
good to know.
That was on.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to the Badlands.
Wait. Put it back together again. Is it not spraying? Do you dare start it or not? Nope,
No.
she's running. Shut her down. Might as well unhook that battery or whatever, but yeah, she's gushing. You got a gusher. Well, that's
All right.
not-
So now the question is,
Yeah.
disconnect the fuel line.
Totally up to you guys. It could sit here, and when you guys come back, you can just put it somewhere in the yard. I'd just soon have it inside while you're gone. You know, that way I know it's
We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just later in the day.
whatever. I'll just close the doors. I was hoping for a better outcome for you guys.
I was too.
Because this car is kind of the star of the $2,500 show.
I know, it's horrible.
Well, I'm just saying, Volvo always works.